Shocking realities science has revealed. Story 1. Upon death, hearing is the last sense to fade. You lose control and sensation, but you can still hear as voices grow softer and more distant. Story 2. Time is vast. The earth existed 1,000,000 years ago, 1,000,000 years before that, and 1,000,000,000 years before that. Even if our civilization thrives for 20,000 years and colonizes thousands of planets like in Dune, it's a blink in geological time. The Earth barely notices us. We're closer in time to Tyrannosaurus rex than T. Rex was to Stegosaurus, yet most people think all dinosaurs lived together. Story 3. Brain-eating amoebas, like Naegleria fowleri, are real. Only about 3 out of 330 million people get infected annually, a 1 in 100 million chance. When I got COVID, I'd been swimming in a pool 2 days prior, so my first thought was, the amoebas are coming for me. Of course, it was COVID, and other infections are far more likely. For 3 years, I did nasal rinses with non-distilled water, a bad idea. Recently, I used unboiled well water, and after reading about the risks, every new symptom convinced me I doomed myself. My best friend and summer camp bunkmate died from one in 7th grade. He got sick fast, and within days of camp, he was gone. It was a brain-eating amoeba. That same day, a lifeguard waiting for the next group of kids in a Trojans versus Spartans game had a seizure, fell off a boat, and drowned. These were the only deaths in the camp's 50-plus year history. Reply: in 8th grade, I had a severe headache. A nearby town had a recent spinal meningitis case, so I got a lumbar puncture. It wasn't meningitis, just a ruptured aneurysm. The meningitis paranoia likely saved my life. Another reply: I woke from a nap with body aches and chills, assuming it was the flu. Working retail during Thanksgiving, I pushed through Black Friday and Saturday with a worsening headache, stiff neck, and odd pain at the base of my skull. Saturday night, an alarm in my head screamed something was wrong. A friend drove me to the hospital. Every bump was agony. I told the desk about my headache, feeling awful and neck stiffness. Before I could sit in the waiting room, they rushed me to a room. The nurse suspected meningitis, likely viral since I was still alive. An MRI showed brain inflammation, ruling out a lumbar puncture. A CT scan revealed my brain swelling beyond my skull base, that odd pain. They treated me for meningitis and monitored me. In a dark quarantine room, someone in a full-body PP suit changed my IVs, and I thought I was dying. Oddly, I felt calm, even intrigued. By morning, my brain waves were checked, and by day 2.5, I was 80% better, unusual for meningitis. Doctors concluded I have chronic hydrocephalus, likely lifelong due to neurofibromatosis type 1, which also ruined my vision. If it worsens, I'll need a shunt. I felt like I'd been asleep for a month, disoriented, as I left the hospital in winter, seeing cheerful Christmas trees outside, a mocking contrast to the grim news people get there. 4 years later, life's normal, just chronic fatigue and terrible math skills. Story 4. Many Texas lakes harbor brain-eating amoebas, but you're more likely to drown than contract one. Reading about prion made me think of these. I used to swim in lakes, getting water up my nose, but now I'm too scared. Reply: you don't need to submerge to get infected. Splashing water, or mist from a passing boat can expose you. An episode of Monsters Inside me showed a kid getting a brain-eating amoeba while water skiing. My former boss got a crazy fungal infection walking near a river, not a brain eater, but still wild. Story 5. Giant squids exist. Old sailor tales of a kraken wrapping tentacles around ships and pulling them under don't seem like fiction anymore. Whalers found suspicious scars on sperm whales, which dived deep to hunt giant squids. They likely feared these creatures could sink their boats, and maybe they could. Story 6. Microplastics have been found in newborn babies. Story 7. 1 in 10 dentists wouldn't recommend certain toothpastes. Story 8. The Earth isn't the universe's center, which shocked people when discovered. Technically, it's the center of our observable universe, but that only matters to us since we're the only ones who matter so far. Story 9. The Cascadia subduction zone could devastate the Pacific Northwest. FEMA's Region X director, Kenneth Murphy, says everything west of Interstate 5 would be toast after a quake and tsunami. Another source notes the cycle for full ruptures is up to 600 years, and we're not overdue yet. Reply: these events don't follow schedules. We know little about Earth's interior. New York City has faults that cause magnitude 5 to 6 quakes historically. A magnitude 6 today would destroy unreinforced masonry like brownstones. There's no reason 6 is the limit. I felt a quake near Washington, D.C. years ago while driving to New York. Another reply: I live 30 miles inland, 2 miles from I-5. My house might be beachfront property someday. Story 10. Nuclear fission's power is staggering. Nuclear weapons gave it a bad rap, but nuclear energy is one of the cleanest sources available. We shouldn't close plants during an energy crisis. Renewables like tidal, wind, or steam solar, not photovoltaic panels, which use rare earth metals, are great, but nuclear shouldn't be replaced. Fusion and fission both power nuclear weapons. Story 11. The universe is expanding infinitely, accelerating so fast that distant galaxies will eventually vanish beyond the cosmic horizon. Future creatures will see an empty sky, unaware of the universe's scale and beauty. Stars we thought were blurry a century ago are entire galaxies. The vastness traps us in a cosmic void, unable to reach other galaxies even at light speed. Beyond the galaxy clusters, there could be something even larger we can't fathom. Voyager would take 70,000 years to reach the nearest star and 749 million years to the closest galaxy. At light speed, it's still 25,000 years to the nearest galaxy, and it's getting farther. Atoms are emptier than the solar system, held together or apart by forces. Either we're alone in the universe, or we're not. Both are terrifying. If there's no supreme being, the universe's vast emptiness suggests our existence is an accident. If there is one, its silence despite the cosmos' scale raises questions about why exploration is so hard. Story 12. Childhood neglect and abuse chemically rewire the brain. Brains are malleable. Cruciferous vegetables or puzzle games can reshape neural pathways. My brother endured horrific abuse from our father and has worked with therapists for 10 years, only now reclaiming his life. He was robbed of a fair shot. Reply: my adopted kids, biological brothers aged 7 and 9, came to us as babies. The 9-year-old endured physical abuse. The 7-year-old was removed at birth. The 7-year-old is calm, like a mix of Macklemore and Lebowski, brightening everyone's day. The 9-year-old struggles with rage, anxiety, and violence, cycling through psychiatric hospitalizations. When triggered, he enters a dead-eyed anger mode, and we minimize harm until he recovers. We've tried services and medications, but it feels like starting over. Another reply, neurofeedback, specifically infraslow fluctuation, ISF, retrains the brain for better regulation. My therapist switched his practice to it and says it works better on younger brains. During my first session, when my brain waves shifted to optimal regulation, I panicked. Calm felt dangerous. It showed how damaged my nervous system was from past trauma. I crave those sessions now and wish they were free for everyone. Story 13. Aging terrifies me. Not death, but the body's frailty and decline. Smoking shortens life, but those shitty years at the end come sooner if you smoke. Story 14. The orangutan paradox. While filming a documentary, orangutans, the smartest in their category, don't notice us watching. Aliens could observe us, and we'd be as oblivious as orangutans. A fourth-dimensional being could be nearby, unseen, like a hand over paper. There's no way to disprove this. Story 15. Science can't prove the past exists or that nature's laws will stay constant. They've just been consistent so far. It's an unsettling rabbit hole. The universe might have been created last Thursday at 2:57 Central Daylight Time and will end next Monday at midnight. The past is just matter in a different arrangement, but it's still now. Time sequences these relations. Story 16. Substances like lead in gasoline likely lowered global IQs during its use. Tiny, invisible organisms can kill us. Story 17. The Carrington Event, a solar storm, could cripple modern society if it happened today. Most in the U.S. would struggle, except perhaps the Amish. Reply, the Amish rely on industrial civilization too. I grow and sell feed for their horses. Few are truly self-sufficient subsistence farmers, as some believe. A catastrophe would cause 3 to 5 years of chaos before recovery. Story 18. Black holes, like the one at our galaxy's center, are massive, invisible, and devour everything nearby. Yet, they're among the brightest objects due to glowing matter compressed in their gravitational pull, forming a radiant ring. Reply, prion. Non-living, misfolded proteins cause other proteins to misfold, leading to untreatable neurodegeneration and death, like in fatal familial insomnia or Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, CJD. A study showed airborne prion were 100% lethal in mice. As a nurse, I handle tumors, gangrene, and eviscerations, but prion terrify me to my core. They're fundamentally wrong. Story 19. Some tumors, called teratomas, grow teeth, hair, and even eyes. My sister had one the size of a melon in her ovary, minus the eyes. She named it Terry the teratoma. They often smell putrid and are horrifying to see.